Before time began, there was...
crabs. Greetings, gentlemen, and welcome to Crustacean Nation, an unstoppable tidal wave of seafood featuring shellfish infantry, crabs with literal cannons strapped to their backs, and a world where crayfish evolved and learned how to fly and kill. Our goal is to aggressively spread crab influence across the continent by pinching our way through hordes of men, primarily focusing on eradicating the French, stomping through parts of England, and transforming the landscape into a scuttling, vibrant orange nightmare. And leading the charge is something I can only describe as a giant, hard-shelled fucking monstrosity whose tentacle-infused projectiles will condemn our enemies to a fate far worse than a Japanese waifu. Standing in our way is an elite coalition of baguette-wielding cowards, mutated cheese grifters, and various flavors of neurodivergent sex demons. Can we conquer the land, sea, and skies, turning our enemies into crab people? Or will we get boiled alive by the forces of chaos and turned into soft-shell crab sushi? Gentlemen, welcome to the second channel. If you haven't subscribed to the main channel or this channel, then fucking subscribe. Sorry about that. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to the beach. Today we'll be playing as King Crab, the leader, the ruler, and the sole liege of Crustacean Nation. Think Thanos, but he's grown a couple more legs, and he's got two giant pincers that will chop your head off if you get close. Now, for this mod, you don't actually start with any land. No, you just kind of crawl up from the coast here, and this is our entire faction right here. So if we lose, we're basically fucked. And also, because of the starting difficulty we chose, we're going to start out at war with Norska over here. I got fucking rinsed in the comments of my last Warhammer video because I called these guys the Nords. I mean, I'm a big Skyrim guy, so, you know, I guess all I'll say about that is that Skyrim is for the Nords. The way the Crustacean Nation plays is there's a couple of mechanics that we have access to. The first one is an additional currency. It's called the Gleaming Shells. Now, basically, you can gain these passively, but you can also get them through different actions, like once you defeat a army, you have the choice to get more, or you can loot different settlements around to get that balance up higher. These can be used to make ancestral offerings, giving us the ability to spend them on various different buffs, such as making a specific army immune from trespassing penalties, making all units unbreakable, and instantly replenishing the movement range of a target army. I mean, all of those that I just listed were towards a specific army, but there's other ones in here too that can debuff the enemy, and you can also grant your own settlements additional bonuses like 5 population surplus. So additionally to all of that, our specific faction, which is the Crustacean Court, gets plus 20 diplomatic relations with the other Crustacean nations, so we can kind of serve as a force to unite the crabs, or all crustaceans, under one banner, and we get temporary faction bonuses when we vassalize or destroy a faction. And on top of that, we have a base plus 75% extra tributes from all of our vassals. So it seems like having more of an emphasis on vassalizing factions will serve our six-legged faction quite well. Okay, so our goal is to achieve the short victory. And in order to do that, we're going to have to capture the wasteland, which is this chunk of land right here. And much like any living, normal creature with an ounce of intelligence, as soon as the crabs gained a level of sentience that allowed them to think coherently, they immediately decided that the best course of action would be to destroy the French. So we have these two factions we need to destroy, and we will definitely be wiping out the French at some point. And on top of that, we also have to occupy or loot 30 different settlements. So that is the goal. And once we have achieved the short victory, we will throw a massive feast for everyone to come and have some very nice tasting crab meat, and we'll throw our entire faction in a pot. Now, the main challenge with this campaign, or at least at the start, is that you have no land, you have no settlements, and this starting battle is actually fucking unbelievably hard. It's honestly one of the most difficult starting battles I think I've played in any mod or normal campaign, but there's not too much more that you can do, so we're going to have to go ahead and fight this anyway. Right before we do that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the technology tree. We'll research the first technology we need to get anyway, and as soon as we get that, we're going to instill martial claw upon the faction. Alright, enough of all that shit. It's time for the first battle. So now that we're actually in battle, we get to come in and have a closer look at King Crab in the flesh, or should I say King Crab in his hard outer shell. He's got a nice, cute little helmet on, and he holds his giant fucking mace. Although it doesn't look too big on him because he's fucking pretty big himself. He's also got this nice little cape on, a nice little cloak, royal cloak. But it is fucking decent. He's not that big. I guess you'll see when he's up against some normal units, but he's still a giant crab. And we can have a look at some of our other units. Here we have the Tier 2 Cav units, the Spider Crab units. They're crabs on crabs, and they have some spears and a bunch of shields. And they've also got a shield on top of their already shielded back. So they're going to be hard to shoot in the back. And here we have our best unit, the Crustacean Royal Knights. Now, I'm not sure where they got their inspiration from, but I have a slight suspicion it might have been from France. Now, I don't like that, although hopefully they can prove their worth on the battlefield. If not, I have no problem with them dying. Much like the Spider Crab units, they're pretty much the same, although their Spider Crabs seem to be a bit bigger, and they seem to be a lot more heavily armored. And here we have a look at some of our infantry units. Here we have the Crustacean Royal Guards. These guys have the halberds. This is our best infantry unit we have. The rest of them are just these crappy tier 1 crab warriors, the basic kind of infantry unit. A lot of fucking clacking from their pincers. Yes, that could get quite annoying if you stayed down here. And then we have one missile unit in our starting army, the Crab Levy Slingers. So these guys aren't the best, obviously, but I'm not sure how they're actually throwing things. They don't seem to have anything in their hands, and they don't seem to have anything in their backs. So I think they must just shit arrows out their ass. But anyway, let's see how we go against this much better on paper force. I mean, they have some tier 3 great swords, they have the Hellblaster volley guns, some mortars that's going to fucking cook our crabs alive, and some halberders. It should be a tough battle for us, but let's see. Alright, so my general tactic here is to try and use the archers to flank them a little bit, because if we just meet them head on, then all of our crab warriors are going to die. They're not the worst in combat, it's just they have more units than us, so they're going to outlast us. So if I can pin them in place first, and then hit them with our archers on their flanks and charge their rears with our cav units, that would be an ideal scenario for us. Now, I'm assuming King Crab's about to be fucking shredded to pieces by their Hellblaster volley guns. Are they not shooting? Alright, there they go. They are shooting, alright. That's annoying though. They have a couple of units that are guarding their mortars, which is not what we want. How's King Crab going? Let's have a look at him. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. He is chopping men in half with a single swipe. That's good to see. Alright, get these Crustacean Knights in. We need to be cycle charging and just have them stay there in combat. And then I'm going to use this Spider Crab unit to kind of fuck with their ranged units that are around the back here, although we might not last. Alright, let's get you guys out of there. Alright, now charge these halberders. It kind of worked. It kind of didn't work at the same time, though. The bad thing about what's happened now is that they have 2 decent spear units left that are pretty strong. And we have mainly cav units left as well, so we can't really fucking deal with them. Alright, get your asses on. Is this not going to work well? Oh wow, that actually worked incredibly well. Alright, now you guys need to hit those halberds, please. Alright, take them out with our crab warriors. Hold them in place at least. Alright, that was good. Good charge right there. Alright, now we have pretty much just their one French lord to kill, which we are surrounding with a lot of hard shells at the moment. Oh my goodness, that guy's head just got chopped off. And King Crab is hanging on by the skin of his fucking pincers, but he's coming back into battle. He's run away about 3 or 4 times now, and it looks like he might run away again. But we are just going to cause a one big, massive pile on this lord and try and kill him. So, yeah, we got a Pyrrhic victory. I told you it was going to be pretty challenging. So with that first battle won, we have successfully wiped out almost our entire race. As you can see, we have a couple of options here. We can praise our ancestors. That gives us more gleaming shells. We can ransom them. We can force them into some labor, or we can just execute them. I'm going to go ahead and force them into labor and try and get back some of our crabs that perished. With that fight out of the way, we have leveled King Crab himself up. We're going to go ahead and try and get the cheapest recruitment we can straight away. And then I think I'm going to level up our crabs a little bit more, and particularly there is one unit that has caught my eye, and it is the Kraken Caller unit. It is tier 5, however. I think this is going to be the key to us winning a lot of fucking battles later on, but for now we can't get it, so we don't have to worry about it. All right, let's take King Crab and continue the march. Crab people. All right, we have another close defeat battle. Annoyingly, we can't auto-resolve a battle yet, so we're going to have to try and somehow kill these guys again. All right, now they're going to take 2 minutes for their reinforcements to actually get here, and they have a Hellblaster volley gun and these other 2 units set up on this hill here. So we're going to charge at them, maybe from opposite ways so they can't just kill us outright and land all their shots, and just hope for the best here, I guess. All right, we have successfully bypassed their first layer of defense, and the only unit I care about really is that Hellblaster volley gun, so let's make sure we don't let that get a single volley off. It didn't. Awesome. And King Crab, honestly, you can stay out of this fight because I think you're going to die, and this lord should die. Oh my god, we just sent him fucking flying. Oh my god. The crab apocalypse. Here it is. We probably should not be shooting our own cav units though. That's probably not the smartest plan here. And their reinforcements are just about to arrive. Now we have an incredibly weak front line here. They're all on the verge of death. We're going to have to rely on flanking them, I think, pretty heavily if we want to even have a chance to win this. And we'll probably keep our cav units together because they're pretty weak. All right, we are surrounded right now. We're going to have nothing left after this. Everyone charge in. Oh my god, that was a nice charge. All right, so let's replenish even more now and attack this right here. And we finally get a decisive victory with low casualties. Exactly what we want. Now we're going to go ahead and first admire all of this beautiful crab art right here. The mod author did a fucking brilliant job. Look at this shit. Crab on a castle. Who would have thought? Crab picking up coins. I don't think he's able to. Oblivion crab. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and occupy this settlement right here. Now, the great thing about that challenging start is that despite my best efforts for self-genocide, we somehow survived. But we now have our first piece of land on this earth, the Wrecker's Point. We're going to be able to grow this and spread our crustacean hard-shelled supremacy across the Empire and mainly fucking France. We're going to raise this shit. All right, so because we're so weak right now, we're going to go ahead and use one of the ancestral offerings. Now, the one I'm going to use is the Call to Claws. What this pretty much does is increases the amount of units we can get from Wrecker's Point by an additional 2 units, and that lasts for 5 turns. So we're going to go ahead and perform that. And now instead of just recruiting 2 units, we can recruit 4. Now because of all that, we've actually gained another skill point for King Crab. So we're going to make recruitment even less, and then we're going to re-recruit these guys. All right, so some crab warriors, and we'll go ahead and get 1 reef snapper. Actually, make that 2 reef snappers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the first turn there. I've been recording for an hour and we're still on the first turn. This is not a good sign. All right, so our crab force is a little bit rejuvenated now, but we're going to start marching down to that second settlement immediately. We don't want to waste any time. They'll probably come up with some type of army if there is one down here. If not, we get a free settlement. Okay, so to be expected, they managed to come down, although we have actually got a much better army than they do right now. All right, it says a Pyrrhic victory. I don't want to lose that many units, so I'm going to fight this. All right, so the only new unit we got was the Reef Snappers. These guys are tiny little crabs that are extremely vicious. They have terrible leadership, but they're great at flanking the enemy and attacking their archers or whatever's at the back of the enemy's force. So they're actually a decent unit to have, and they're pretty freaking cheap as well. Here we see our own crabs getting absolutely obliterated here. Yeah, spoiled crustaceans on the menu. I mean, just look at how fucking terrifying this would be. You've just got a bunch of shielded crab warriors coming to annihilate you. All right, let's see this nice charge of the rainbow-colored crabs. They're actually extremely good at taking out infantry. As you can see, they are ripping these guys to shreds right now. And let's get a closer look on now Tier 4 Royal Knights, the Crustacean Royal Knights. They seem to be having a little bit more trouble than our trusty crabs over here. How's King Crab going? Oh my god. Alright, good shit, King Crab. I can always count on you, my trusty Crustodian. Alright, we've won that battle, and we will occupy another settlement from the Empire. So here we have grown exponentially to 2 light pink colored pieces of land. Now, we actually only need these 2 settlements here to capture all of the wasteland and tick off our first victory condition. So here we can actually have a look at some of the buildings we can craft. Pretty much the only one that's going to give us a new unit now is the mustering field. So this will give us some different variations of the crab warriors, one with spears, one regular, which we're going to go ahead and build. But if we have a look down here at some of the other buildings, we get a look at some of the infrastructure. We've got some kelp farm to generate some income and growth. We've got the crab tizen's hut, which just generates some income, and a coral bed to give a bit more control in casualty replenishment rate. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get the mustering fields. And while we're here, we're actually going to recruit another lord, and we can get a noble, a warlord, or a prophet. Now, lore of the shell or lore of the claw? I'm not sure which one's going to be better, but I think I'm going to just go lore with the claw because it fucking rhymes, and that's awesome. So let's get him, because we want to keep taking advantage of the extra recruitment that we can get here. So let's get a bunch of warriors and one more slinger. All right, we're going to continue our forward assault on the Empire with King Crab and use these guys to get down here a little bit too and continue their recruitment. Now, one extra thing that we can get here is some crab warriors with spears. So we're going to get 2 of those units just in case I have some type of cav. Well, that's not good. An army of fucking 19 strong has come down to kill us here. Not ideal in the slightest. Well, let's just go down here and capture this piece of land. Decisive victory. We do lose some units, but that's fine. All right, so I'm going to march this army back into our settlement here, and we get a little bit of a look at what these guys have. They have some cav units and some shitty axe infantry, and we're actually going to use the next ancestral offering, which is acid rain, which will melt their skin and bones, resulting in their armor and leadership being heavily depleted. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and actually attack these guys, and as you can see, that ability is kind of broken. Our front line here has 70 armor, 60 leadership roughly. They have 0 armor and 52 leadership with their marauder units, and their marauder javelins have even worse stats. Anyway, it doesn't look like we're actually going to lose a single unit here, so we're going to go ahead and auto resolve that. So that's a good example of just how kind of strong this ancestral offerings can be. So we might need to start collecting some fucking shells. Anyway, let's upgrade our main settlement and level up Crabius von Shell. What a fucking guy. Have a look at him. Absolutely amazing. Sorry, but before we continue, I have to tell you something. 10,000 years in the future, I will accidentally spark an intergalactic war. I'll fight against the swarms of chaos and butcher thousands of bloodthirsty demons. And I wouldn't have survived this interplanetary conflict without
Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus.
Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus is an exciting turn-based tactical strategy game set in the eternal conflict of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It truly is
The game of all time.
Assemble and command over 80 legendary champions from 18 playable factions, including the new Adeptus Custodes, who hit harder and tank damage better than anyone else in the universe. My personal favorite, Trajan Valoris, Captain General, who crushes enemies, absorbs damage, and controls key positions. Seriously, this guy is literally worth an entire army. Engage in high-stakes battles against other players, or strategize your domination. And because the developers constantly add fresh content, new game modes, and exciting events, it never gets old. It has an impressive rating of 4.8 on the app stores, and it's officially licensed by Games Workshop, so you know it's the shit. Thanks to the guys over at Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring today's video. Download and play for free now by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description, and check out the brand new Adeptus Custodes faction to start steamrolling your enemies. And now, back to conquering the world with crabs. The Norskins do not want the fucking smoke with us right now, so we're actually going to go ahead and accept this so we can just focus on off the Empire and then coming towards the French. And we'll send our Crab King over towards their capital. A valiant defeat. Wow, that's crazy. Let's just continue that siege there. All right, so we've established Martial Claw, which gives us negative 15% upkeep for crab levy units and also lower recruitment costs for them. So let's go ahead and actually take a bit of a more in-depth look at this technology tree and see kind of the way that we want to build this out. Now, it seems like this side up here is more towards like the monster style units and, the hard shell bruisers, they like to call them. And this side's more for the kind of basic infantry and missile units. And then these ones are a bit of a mishmash. Not really sure there is much of a theme over here. So I think we're going to go ahead and start leveling up this side and then kind of pick some of these individual ones later. Now, hopefully these guys come out and actually attack us in the next turn. They only have 2 settlements left. So it's this one and that one over there. Oh my, the bearded men are getting quite nervous because they FaceTimed King Crab and they want peace, which we are going to reject. Oh my, the Master Engineer has fucking ran away. We could auto-resolve this. The only problem is that we lose our entire force of crab warriors, which isn't exactly ideal. The alternative scenario is to fight a siege battle, which I really don't want to do. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to auto-resolve this. With that battle, we actually gained the King's Rusty Scepter. It's a symbol of authority and might amongst crabs. So it gives us a bound ability, which spews some type of crab residue all at the enemy. You do not want to be the guy getting hit by that. And King Crab has also got himself a Royal Spider Crab. So apparently a giant crab needs to ride something. I have no idea what this thing's going to look like. All right, so if we grab ourselves a Crustacean Shrine, we'll actually be able to get some Iron Claw Warrior Monks who are apparently pretty good in melee. So we'll go ahead and get that. And we've also captured all of the wasteland. So we've ticked off the first victory condition. Now all we need to do is take one more settlement from the Empire. Then these guys will be destroyed. And then turn our attention towards the French. And after that, we should have a lot more settlements than we have. We're currently on 4 out of 30. So let's march down on Fort Bergbres and see if we can take this. Yes, we can. Although we do lose a couple of units, that's fine. Let's do that. And we're going to go ahead and subjugate this Empire faction and seal that with our pincer. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Beautiful. So because of that, we get this temporary bonus right here, which is glory to the Great Crab Unifier. So we get plus 20 diplomatic relations with all factions, minus 15% construction cost for all buildings, plus 30 growth, and plus 4 control. So it's definitely worth vassalizing some factions when we have the chance. On top of all of that, we also have plus 75% tributes from vassals. I'm not too sure if these guys are actually going to be paying us anything. Probably not, because they don't make anything, but very good. Now, because of that increased in diplomatic relations, we can actually go ahead and get a trade agreement with the Chinese, and they're actually going to pay us for that as well. I'm also going to go ahead and grab some crabby prosperity. So this increases the income and public order for any settlement we want. So we're going to go ahead and choose Marienburg, which has the most income by far. And if we go ahead and click that, that was at 650 and it's now at 840. So we have 10 turns of increased income, which is extremely broken. Okay, well, some French people have taken the initiative and decided to kill the crustaceans before they kill them, which is honestly not too bad a move, because we were going to kill any French people we came across. So they just kind of helped us skip a step. Anyway, we're joined by our ally, which is comforting. Now, who the hell are they? I think they're like around here. That's not the biggest deal right now, but that makes me think that these guys are going to declare war on us relatively soon. Yes, we're at negative 119 relations with them. And at least if they don't, these guys probably will, because they like Bastogne. I think the strategy right now is kind of to prepare for our giant war against Bretonnia. We're going to need the ability to recruit some better units, or at least different units, ones that aren't just tier 1 and 2. Ideally, we'd have a better front line. However, all our front lines fucking pretty shit. aren't they? All right, so I've just kind of had a look at all the potential units we can get. Pretty much the only one available to us right now is the Crustacean Powder Maker, which is going to give us the ability to get some Crustacean Gunners and some Crustacean Bombers. So we'll go ahead and start that construction, but ideally this building tree is going to be what gives us the majority of our front line. We can also get some heroes as well, the Crustacean Royal Guard Captain, but we'll get the Crustacean Royal Guard, who will become the majority of our front line, and also the Halberd Infantry, and they're a tier 3 unit. So those two units will probably make up the majority of our front line mid to late game, but that's a tier 3 building, which we cannot get just yet. So the only thing we can get is these guys. At the very least for now, we can actually go ahead and get some Iron Claw Warrior Monks. So if we compare these guys to our standard Crab Warriors, they have much more leadership, 22 extra weapon strength, and charge bonus, at the detriment, however, to their armor and defense, and slightly less attack. So let's go ahead and get 2 of those units. That's going to be our first tier 2 units in the entire army. Yes, this crustacean nation is made up of a fuck ton of crawling crustacean fodder. So we need to filter through the shit to get to the good stuff. Well, this is not good. The French are circling. We've got an invading army coming down here, and there's French people everywhere. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 French armies, and I'm pretty sure there's another one of these guys somewhere. They're breeding like fucking rabbits. We need to start cutting back their numbers a bit, and ideally we'd have a stronger army than this, but this is all we've got. So we've got to make do with what we've got, I guess. To help us out, let's go ahead and pour some acid rain on their head. Let's do that for 25 shells, and now their peasant mobs are even worse than they already were. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. All right, let's have a look. Here's our new unit, the Iron Claw Warrior Monks. So what's different about them, I'm not sure, but they do have quite the coat on them. That's about it, really. They got a bit of extra drip. Oh, hold on. King Crab actually got a new mount. There he is, fucking riding a bigger crab. Have you ever seen a more elegant crab in your entire life than this guy? He's dripped the fuck out. All right, so we've taken out 2 of their armies. We could probably replenish our army a little bit because there's a lot more armies where that came from. Now, what I'm seeing here is that we basically need to upgrade our army to get a whole bunch of better units. As you can see, the only tier 4 unit we had just fucking destroyed any other unit, and the tier 3 unit we had was the slight closest. So our army fucking sucks at the moment, and that's why we're taking a lot of losses. I'm also terrible at the game, so there's dual reasoning behind that. Oh, beautiful. We've actually unlocked a Regiment of Renown, the Rhymeshell Marauder. They're still a tier 1 unit, so it's not ideal, but we're going to recruit them anyway. And there we go. We can actually start to recruit some more tier 2 units. So let's get some normal gunners for now. Unfortunately for us, though, the French, they actually have a defensive alliance with Karl France. So I definitely don't want to go to war with Karl France just yet. He's clearly quite a bit stronger than us, and he's already got 7 settlements. That's crazy. Our vassal has actually gone ahead and taken the fight to the French and destroyed them. So that's good. All right, and we can actually go ahead and make a Royal Guard outpost. So this gives us the Crustacean Royal Guards and the Halberds as well. So that's going to be the main front line that we use. So we'll grab that. That's going to take 4 turns to build, though. We've also got 7 out of the total 30 settlements we need. So we are definitely making some progress. The Crempire, no, oh my god, no. The Crab Empire is expanding onwards and upwards for the Crustacean nation. So let's go ahead and declare war on them. Once again, we're going to pour some acid rain on this army here to make all their leadership and armor basically non-existent, and they should crumble a lot faster. We've got a decisive victory with medium casualties, and we don't really lose that many good units. So we're going to take that. We kind of need a bit of a better force right here. So let's kind of just get rid of all these crab warriors. I just don't want to see them anymore. And we can also get rid of these slingers as well. And then we're going to get a front line of 4 Crustacean Royal Guards that have halberds. Now, the important reason as to why we should get as many Royal Guard crustaceans as we can is because our main man, King Crab, actually has 1 turn less recruitment for all of those units. And once we go ahead and grab this perk right here, Royal Discipline, we can buff the living shit out of them, giving +8 melee attack and defense, and also giving them all perfect vigor as well, so they'll become absolute powerhouses. And then if we go ahead and get the King's Guard after that, we can make them all unbreakable and reduce their upkeep by 10%. So that's a rough plan. All right, so the problem is they're in a defensive alliance with Karl Franz, so we want them to get out of that. So in order to do that, we're going to declare war on the Broken Axe, who at some stage probably would have declared war on us anyway. Now, the funniest part about this entire thing is that they're going to pay us 413 gold to do this. So we've done it. They have ended their own defensive alliance with the only thing really keeping them safe. And now we're going to go to the Dwarves and we're going to offer to declare war on the French for 1,500 gold. And that's diplomacy, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and just take this immediately. All right, well, I'm expecting the French to attack us this turn. Yep, what do you know? Wow. A fun little fact about this mod is that every siege battle for crab or crustacean settlements, they're actually just land battles. And this is because the creator hates siege battles. So he's very similar to myself. All right, so this is the defense that I've kind of gone for. It's a piece of commanding ingenuity. I call it, everyone get on the fucking hill and try to stay alive. Oh yes, beautiful. This is what Armageddon looks like, everyone. Fucking crab invasion. Now, you can kind of see why I chose to do that, because yeah, they've got a lot of cab units, and those battle odds do not like our chances of winning this at all. All right, they have finally arrived. This fucking madman is flying into the middle of us. Look at this. That is absolutely insane. All right, let's get you guys to just kind of come over here, and then we'll get a tidal wave coming through here as well. I'm not sure how much damage that actually fucking did. Oh my god, our units are already running away. But I suppose the good thing about fighting a battle like this is that the cab units can't kind of flank us, at least, because we don't have a flank. Oh my god, our units are getting absolutely decimated anyway, though. This is not nice to see. Alright, we did some damage with that tidal wave over there. I think there are simply just too many of them, though. Even when we fight like a pussy, we lose this absolutely completely. We start the war with the French in complete defeat and disgrace. They murdered all of our crustacean hard-shelled backs, and Crabius von Schell is no more. Now, although old mate Leon Kerr has completely fucked us over at Castle Artois, their capital is a tier 4 capital, and it's completely undefended because he decided to come down here. Now, we can't actually reach this capital right now, as you can see. We are out of movement range. But if we come down here to the ancestral offerings, we can actually go to the Scuttle Onward ancestral offering, and we can actually replenish our movement range for the cost of 50 shells. And now we can just straight up take their capital. And it says we get a Pyrrhic victory here, which we're going to have to try to do better than, because they're going to have 2 armies coming after King Crab straight after this, so we actually have to fight this, unfortunately. All right, go on, put your fucking ladders up, boys. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see. They just fucking climb the actual wall. They don't even have ladders. That's amazing. All right, where are our bombers? I think we're doing a lot more damage to ourselves than we should be. All right, we have one ability here, strong versus single unit. Let's see. Okay. A little bit of damage there. Not bad. Oh, they've got another unit of Grail Knights coming here. You guys get down there, please. Oh my god. King Crab's in over his head right now. I think that'll do a lot of damage there. Yes. Damn, they are definitely weakening us right now. All right, we've got some cav units in here to help out, and we fucking needed them, didn't we? How are we going up here? I mean, we should be killing them, but the fucking men-at-arms, they're actually taking out our halberd infantry. That's honestly kind of crazy. They shouldn't be doing that well, but they are. Alright, that was some nice damage right there. And throw some bombs, lads. I don't know why you're not throwing any bombs. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. We definitely lost more units than we should have here. That is not good. We do need to take these Grail Knights out, though. Okay, beautiful. That's what you like to see. So we won, but yeah, but at what cost? I mean, we almost lost every bomber we had, which is not good, and we did lose 1 crustacean gunner. Now, honestly, I think the smartest thing for us to actually do here is to not occupy it. Probably to raise or sack this. It is their capital, and we just lost a lot of units, and they've got 2 armies down there. I mean, sacking it would be better for us, but I think we're going to raise it just because I don't want to verse another rather hard garrison again. And that was tier 4, so that gets rid of that. We'll raise that to the floor. All right, King Crab has actually leveled up twice from that battle, so we'll go ahead and grab the Royal Discipline perk, which gives better melee attack and defense to all of our Royal Guard units. We'll also get the King's Guard perk, which makes them all unbreakable and reduces their upkeep. So Royal Crustaceans are now our bread and butter. They are going to be the things that we want to mass produce with King Crab. Oh wow, we actually get a heroic victory here, and we don't lose that many units. I'll definitely take that. Goodbye, Lewin Leon Kerr. And we can actually replenish our army from that as well. Oh, yep, they're marching the other way. Not ideal. You know what? The fact that this army came down this way, I'm actually going to go ahead and colonize this. I know I did just sack it, but because we colonize this now, we won't have to retreat to actually recover some of our units. So that's a little bit ideal for us. So this army can actually reach our settlement here. So let's pour some acid rain over their faces once again, and hopefully they take a lot more casualties with any battle that they fight. Wow, they actually came down and attacked us, and they fucking lose now. That is the best case scenario for us. Well, the French have just made a cataclysmic mistake. So let's continue onwards with King Crab over here. Take this land. And King Crab has actually got himself a royal throne carrier. So he'll be all decked out in some new drip in the next battle. All right, beautiful. Let's take this and then move onwards and take the final French settlement. I feel like I'm always fighting the French, or talking about fighting the French. You know, in my last video, I was an English redcoat, and we had a lot of wars against the French in a Bannerlord mod. But before that, I actually was playing as a French. So, you know, no discrimination around here. All right, with that last battle there, we have successfully eliminated the French from Europe. So if we come down here, we've now completed all of the prerequisites, bar the final one. Now we just need to get to 30 settlements, and we're currently on 12. All right, so what I'm thinking right now is kind of to bunker down a little bit, you know. I've got a lot of big settlements that I've captured, but, you know, they're all terrible right now. None of them are leveled up. So I think we put our foot on the brake a little bit right now and level some of these settlements up instead of just buying new units to kill French people with. And then hopefully in maybe 10 turns or so, we'll be able to get a lot more money and a lot better units anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so much for putting the foot on the brake. We have an invasion of orcs and rats right now. Oh my goodness. There is 220 stack rat armies and another orc army on our fucking border. And we're also fucking plagued right now. So we're taking attrition for nothing. All right, there we go. The orc army has taken the first settlement. We got to do everything we can to weaken this army because they are in range of King Crab, who is taking severe losses at the moment, and there's nothing we can do about it because he's got a fucking plague. So let's pour some acid rain again on these guys and just hope we fucking survive. Hope we don't get attacked in the next turn as well, which we probably will. Oh wow, they fucking attacked the other army and we get to auto-resolve them out of existence. Let's go ahead and do that. And Balakor he's really moving like the fucking mob. He literally walked up to our front door, armed, locked and loaded, and said, give me $1,400 or we'll fucking destroy you. And even if you do give us that, we might just destroy you anyway. We don't want another war. So hopefully this works. He's probably going to declare war on us anyway. At the least, it'll buy us a couple turns. All right, the Skaven have attacked us. The least we can do here is see what their army is. They've got a bunch of slingers, which is nothing. Some Skaven slaves as well, which is absolutely nothing. Clan rats. All right, that's a pretty god-awful army. So at least that's a positive. All right, so let's get the Call to Claws over here for 25 shells. And then we'll recruit an entire army of tier 1 reef snappers. These are the guys that crawl on the ocean floor. So if we can get a 20 stack of these guys, I think that's the fucking ultimate counter to a Skaven army, because we should be able to like chase down all of their missile units and destroy their Skaven slaves at the same time. Sebastian Crabson, he's going to be our key to countering these fucking Skaven dogs. All right, we've got 19 of 20 units here, so let's start to kind of march down here. And Seymour Krusty will lead the anti-Skaven operation. You know, one thing that I think would actually be crazy is making all of these units unbreakable. So we're going to get a bunch of unbreakable crabs. Let's go ahead and attack them here. All right, it thinks we're going to lose this, but we might not. Who knows? We've got unbreakable crabs. Alright, this is my tactic. Just get all of these fucking crabs to just charge them from multiple angles so they don't know where to shoot. They do have some chieftains that will destroy us, but if we can just kind of surround them, they won't have a great place to shoot us from. Oh, a nuke just destroyed our fucking units. Oh my goodness. Alright, they're all unbreakable. We have to remember that. So we can outlast this entire Skaven army. Bit of microing, but that's fine. That's fine. Alright, the reinforcements have actually arrived. I don't know how well this is working, but it might be fucking working. I don't know. Maybe not. Oh my god, our poor crab is getting fucking manhandled right now by this giant mutated rat. Safe to say, I don't think this plan worked out too well. Well, unfortunately, our boy Seymour Krusty and his army of tier 1 crabs got fucking annihilated, although they put up a great fight. I mean, they got 100 kills on pretty much each crab unit, which is good. The only bad thing was the settlement garrison kind of wiped us out. I think we would have had more of a shot if it was just against that army, but we'll never know. Alright, with that fight lost, I think we're actually gonna take King Crab over here and just straight up attack their settlement here, which if you look at King Crab's army, it's made up of entirely tier 3 and 2 units and a single tier 4 unit in there. So we should get pretty good auto-resolve odds here, and they should reinforce. We do lose one spider crab unit though, but I think it's honestly worth it. Now, we've got a whole bunch of saved up regiments of renown we can recruit. I don't actually know if any are worth it. Maybe this unit of Cav is probably good. They don't really have any large units here, do they? I mean, they have the Doom Flares, which are anti-infantry. I'm not really sure what we have to take that out. Maybe the Hellbard infantry or the Cav, potentially. But yeah, we've got a big battle on our hands next. So definitely want more Crab Riders. And right before this battle, we'll go ahead and use the Acid Rain on Ikit Claw. So now all of his units have like virtually no armor and even worse leadership than they already did. Alright, so Ikit Claw has come down and attacked us. And the odds don't look too good for us. But King Crab has to fight it. We've actually got a couple of new units here. The first one is the Crustacean Battle Altar. This is a magical chariot that is pretty heavily armored, and it's basically just a chariot on a giant crab with some type of crab crustacean brain riding it. I'm not really sure what the hell that is. The other unit we have is the Hard Shell Colossi. These guys are our first actual monstrous infantry. So they basically just have these enormous fucking clubs to batter the enemy's brains in. And of course, King Crab has got himself his new throne. So he's there sitting dripped the fuck out in a bunch of not even gold chains anymore. It's just straight up gold chests and rubies and sapphires and all sorts. So he now will be a lot stronger than he was at the start. All right, let's see these big boys destroying these guys. Oh yeah, that's an interesting attack though. Oh my goodness. And time to use some spells. Let's reflect some damage back there and get a big explosion over here. That should be good. All right, our magical chariot is trying to fucking do something. It's kind of hard though. All right, get another big smash over here. Yes, Ikit Claw's over there as well. All right, King Crab, please kill Ikit Claw, please. Do we have any magical chariots left alive? I think we do. Yeah, we actually do. All right, come on, King Crab. You need to kill Ikit Claw. All right. Wow, King Crab, he's got a fucking giant buff with this new mount, man. He is loving life. All right, charge him down. Don't let him go. We fucking decimated that army, and King Crab, with his new gold throne, got 308 kills, doing basically 3k worth of damage in gold value. I think the best thing we can do here is enslave these mutated rats, eat their corpses, and allow that to fuel the Crustacean nation onwards. Wow, alright, they attack us immediately after that. Let's do this then. Alright, we wiped out their army, and we also wiped out our own. King Crab is just fucking alive. Only just. Alright, let's send Sebastian Crabson onwards over here to scout out any more enemies that might be heading our way. And King Crab is still reeling from that fight. Virtually nothing fucking left. The only bad thing about this mod is that fucking all the crab units look exactly alike. So I can't tell at a glance what's cavalry, what's missile, or what's fucking anything else for that matter. Alright, these guys are actually building themselves up. They've got a bunch of rattling guns and poisoned wind knoblighters. Whatever that is. Oh Oh my god, they're building themselves up faster than I am. And they are a lot better armies than what we just fought, which is not good to see. But what is good to see is that we actually just built a tier 4 building, the Hard Shell Coliseum. And that gives us the ability to recruit 2 new units, the Hard Shell Bruisers and the Hard Shell Cannonbacks. These guys shoot and these guys fucking smash. And we're going to get the Call to Claws over here so we can get an increase in the recruitment cap. And now we should be able to recruit 6 slots instead of 4, which is kind of massive. And I'm actually going to use the Shell Friends Gather, which instantly gives us 5 population surplus in this settlement right here. So we use that. And now we can actually go ahead and get that very, very soon. But we're probably going to have to load up on some Crustacean Knights in the next turn. All right, Sebastian Crabson, let's see if you can assassinate one of these rat lords. No, you failed. I don't think you've had too many successful actions in general. You're a bit of a fucking failure, Sebastian. Although your name is Sebastian, so I highly doubt you'd be that much of a success. Well, Sebastian's fucking died. Margie has taken out Sebastian, so he's done absolute fuck all. But as a change of pace for some good news, King Crab's army is completely done, and we've got 20 units of pretty strong crab crustacean hard-shelled boys. All right, Sebastian is back. He's healed up. Let's see if we can assassinate this guy. No, Sebastian is fucking horrible, man. All right, let's go capture this. And with that, we've actually officially reached the halfway point. So we've got 15 out of the 30 different settlements that we need in order to win the campaign. All right, we've apparently got a 50% chance to assassinate this guy with Sebastian. I highly doubt it, though. Let's go watch him fail. Another failure, of course. Oh my god. I don't think he's done a single thing right. All right, we've saved up some shells, and we want to get rid of this one army over here. So first things first, we're going to pour some acid rain on them. That's going to reduce their leadership and armor first. Next, we're going to march King Crab over here. Then we're just going to wait, basically. However, at the same time, we're going to try and assassinate their assassin. And we're going to fail again? No, wow. Oh my god. Sebastian Crabson has actually succeeded. All right, the rats have fallen back. So we're going to do a couple of things here. Firstly, we're going to march King Crab onwards and take this settlement right here. Then we're going to get out of here and come down to the ancestral offerings, replenish King Crab's movement range, and make every unit in his army unbreakable. So let's come down and attack these rats now. All right, so they have storm vermin, rattling guns, and a bunch of catapults and other missile units. All right, so we've finally actually got some new units to show off here. Here we have the tier 4 hard shell bruisers. And these are much like the first ones, although they actually have fitting armor over their shells. So they're very heavily armored. They have 110 armor and pretty high leadership. And the next unit we have are the giant reef snappers. These guys have a decent amount of range and a shit ton of missile strength. They're pretty much just crabs with a Gatling gun on top of an even bigger crab. So I think they'll do a lot of fucking damage. And the final unit that is new is the hard shell cannonbacks. As they sound, they're crabs that are heavily armored with a cannon on their fucking back. This is kind of exactly what my sleep paralysis demon looks like. Yep, you just can't escape these guys. All right, let's just start the battle and head on upwards. We've got King Crab over here. Let's get him to shoot some spells at these guys. How's our hard shell bruisers going? I think they're doing all right. They'll actually do some decent damage over here, I think. I mean, it's fucking basically over, isn't it? Yes, that worked out quite nicely. You know, I think the big lesson that I took out of that one was that if you train up your crustaceans well enough, and you even give them some bigger, faster crabs to ride, then you completely decimate the mutated rats that you're at war with. All right, there's another rat army all the way over here. So I assume they're going to be attacking Aquitaine next, but we can definitely take that army. I mean, that was to be expected. All right, so let's recruit these 2 units here. Now we have not the worst force ever, and let's see if we can win this fight. All right, so we have a couple of regiments of renown over here. First is the Hard Shell Bruiser Regiment of Renown, the exact same, only just better, obviously. And then we have these guys over here, the Iron Claw Council, which is definitely something I want to be a part of. And they have ridiculous fucking stats across the board, basically. One other new unit we have is the Crustaceans. They're crabs or crustaceans that have evolved to the point that they grew wings, but they didn't evolve got past the shell stage. So I can't imagine those heavy fucking shells would be too good for, air resistance and all that. But they've got 95 speed, so clearly it doesn't matter too much. And the only other new unit we have is this guy right here. He's a new monster unit. He's just a big green crab. What a majestic face we have right here. The cool thing about this guy is that he sees you 4 times before he chops your head off with his pincers. So we have some new units that can help us out here. Wow, they have a lot of spears on that side. That's probably not going to be easy to get to. All right, nonetheless, let's just start this battle then. They're going to start firing on us pretty heavily. So let's just go here. And they've got some hellbards on the side there. All right, take those clan rats out. And as soon as they kind of commit, yep, let's go. Let's charge them now. We are losing a decent amount of units here, though. That's the only bad thing. No. Get a hit on these guys, maybe. Take them out. Ooh, that actually hurt us a lot. Right, we might be alright here. They're coming back. Beautiful. So are these guys, apparently. Get in there and charge their sides, please. Ouchies, that actually hurt us a lot. Holy shit. This might not be ideal for us right now. Yes, I think we're going to lose this. Can we charge their rear? To be honest, not really. Yep, everyone has ratted. Oh well, we tried. On the bright side, we can still advance with King Crab, and I don't want to piss off the Wood Elves too much. So we're going to go ahead and use the diplomatic immunity, which means King Crab's army can trespass on any land, and we won't take any diplomatic penalties for that. And then kind of advance onwards towards the rats. Okay, Ikit Claw himself has actually come up to face us. His army's not that good, so I'm not too scared about that. Let's scout this first, see what we're running into. There is an army there, and I think, if I'm not wrong, that's the army we just fought. So we can go ahead and, yeah, just take these guys out pretty easily, I think. Fucking Boil Rolk, see you later. And let's go ahead and occupy that. What I really want to know is, where the fuck did Ikit Claw go? I mean, I might be wrong here, but it seems like Ikit Claw came down here to attack us, attacked us, and then Durthu fucking came out of his hiding and fucking killed him. Alright, so this army's been pretty pesky towards us right now. So let's do our favorite tactic, pour some acid rain on their heads, and let's attack. Wow, we actually win, and we don't even have to fight it. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, now let's continue our march and take back our land. All right, really, no need for us to even break our stride, I guess. Let's just keep advancing with King Crab over here. All right, and after Durthu actually saved us, he's also willing to trade, and we can even get a defensive alliance with him. All right, King Crab, go and take this. Wow, that's a fucking enormous garrison there. I didn't expect that garrison to be so big. All right, well, we'll take some losses, but it doesn't really matter. A crab to remember. Finally, we get negative 8% upkeep, more movement range, more gleaming shells, and just better all-round stats, I guess. All right, well, I think it's time to actually attack these pesky dwarves over here. All right, we actually get a Pyrrhic victory here, and we don't have to siege them. So yes, I'm definitely going to do that. And oh my goodness, we just got the Kraken Master. That is exactly what we want to see. And with that settlement, we only have another 10 settlements to go. So we're 20 out of 30 right now. All right, we're going to take King Crab here, and we're going to take this settlement. Now, there's only one settlement remaining that the dwarves actually have. Now, the next thing we're actually going to do is that fucking Ikit Claw army is kind of a decent army, but Durthu has a fucking great army as well. Hopefully, he can catch him. I reckon he can catch him at least in 5 turns. So we're going to try and help Durthu out here and pour some acid rain on Ikit Claw's army there. Anyway, let's destroy the dwarves' final settlement and get some nice bonuses from doing that. But it seems like Durthu's army just got completely fucking wiped out from Ikit Claw right there. That's what it seems like. Although they did not take anywhere near the amount of casualties I thought they would have. So that's not ideal. Alright, that was the most ultra Uno reverse card I think I've ever seen in my life. This Durthu army must have been in an ambush stance and just fucking wiped out out Icket Claw's army. I thought that was a bit strange that Icket Claw got like no losses, and this was a very tough army. So that's nice to see. And that saves us a battle as well. So we can actually come down here and force march our way over here and go ahead and take this. Yes, that's all right. We'll kill some more French people. That's fine. Oh my god, the French actually ran away. All right, so one thing we haven't really been doing is fighting on the water. And I'm fairly sure we get a bunch of buffs by fighting in the water. So let's go hunt these Frenchmen down. All right, there is no reason for us to fight this other than me wanting to show off our new unit, the Kraken Master. All right, so here it is in all its glory. It's a giant, I'm going to say that's a lobster. Maybe it's just a crab though. It's probably just a crab, but it's a giant artillery piece. It's also a fucking ancient Leviathan style of monster, or it has similar stats to that at least. So it's great in melee, but as you can see, it has a special ranged weapon. Now, there's no real way to tell you what this weapon is besides, well, just showing you. So I'm going to get every other unit and just kind of get them out of the way here. And I really just want to show you guys what this fucking shoots. So as you can see, it's already firing. And when this hits, it summons a giant kraken out of the ground. And as you can see, this is completely broken. Like, I know they're just French people, but it is decimating that one unit. And that's just one shot. It might miss every now and then, but sometimes it can hit like 5 units at once and take them all down to like half health. There we go. Here's another one. Let's get a close-up on this French death. Oh my god. You can't even see. They're just dying. And you can kind of see how broken it is because we haven't used anything else. This is the only unit we've used so far. And those battle odds suggest that the French guys, they're not liking what they're fighting against right now. All right, let's get another close-up of this landing. Oh yes, this is going to be a good shot. Right in the middle of all the Frenchmen. Oh my god. Yes. Oh, there we go. There's another one. A dual fucking Kraken spell. Basically, that Kraken spell is one of the spells from the Vampire Coast Lords. And they're actually going to charge our Ancient Leviathan. Although, I don't think it's going to have any trouble whatsoever killing this Lord in melee. Yes, it's going to chop his head off. Alright, so we've finally saved up enough to actually level up one of our settlements to tier 5. Now, the only problem with this is that's going to take 8 turns, and then it's going to take another 6 turns to actually get the Kraken Caller, which is the unit that we actually want. And with that settlement captured, we've only got another 5 settlements that we need to take in order to reach the short victory. So we've got 1 over there, 1 more there, 1 more there, 1 more there. Well, potentially if Durthu takes that, then we've got 2 or 3 here and 2 right here. All right, Clother, continue your hunt. Awesome. It looks like fucking Icket Claw is virtually dead. He's really not putting up much resistance now. All right, continue onward, Clother de Crabio. I mean, it sounds like a fucking mob name that. Oh shit, they actually have a decent garrison over here. Who cares though? We get to auto-resolve with no losses. We have King Crab over here, so let's declare war on the Shadow Legion. Balakor, we're going to war, bro. And we'll take that one with ease. All right, next we're going to recruit a Lord right here, and we'll go down here to attack it next turn. And we only need another 2 settlements to capture in order to get the short victory. So we are fast approaching. And we're going to send Clother all the way down here to take that settlement. And very interesting, they've actually got some units down here. I don't know why, I just didn't expect them to. Well, let's just attack them outright. And we get a valiant defeat. Let's encircle it then. We can actually recruit that regiment of renown. Do we win now? We do win. Wow. That changes everything, that one unit. All right, and let's take... Oh, hang on. Balakor is coming down. Probably to fuck up one of these settlements over here. So let's put King Crab over here. So we're going to have a big fight with Balakor probably in the next turn. And wow, we get a decisive victory without fucking losing anything. I really want to fight this though, just to see what happens. All right, this is going to get some fucking disgusting kills in this fight. Oh my god, look at that. Fucking insane damage immediately. Exactly what you want to see. All right, King Crab, make yourself unbreakable and also shoot this guy. Beautiful. All right, go down there. All right, Leviathan, I want you to shoot these guys over there and just get a ridiculous amount of kills right here. He's on 6 kills right now. What's he going to be on after this? Oh my goodness. That's insane. All right, how about now? What's he on now? 119. Oh my god. All right, Kraken. Let's fucking, yes, look at that shit. Oh my god. This was like the perfect fucking battle we could have ever hoped for right here. We have 2 choke points that they all just blob up on. I want to see King Crab fucking up Be'lakor close up. Oh no, he's running away. How about we shoot him? How about that? Oh yes, that worked quite nicely. Oh, I think he's trying to escape here. I don't think that's going to work out too well for him. Yeah, let's just kill Be'lakor with our Krakenmeister. You can't even see what's going on right now. This is fucking ridiculous. All right, there we go. That was an insane fucking battle. And as you can see, it did about 3.5k worth of damage dealt there. It got 330 kills. So it is an absolutely ridiculous unit. All right, that oncoming Be'lakor invasion was put to a halt very quickly. Let's continue with Clotha. Take this settlement. We lost 1 unit. That's fine. And we've actually saved up enough shells for us to use the Ancestral Boom, which grants a permanent unique trait to any lord. So we'll go ahead and click on King Crab for that, and we'll perform that. All right, so we get the option here to get the Champion trait, which gives more melee attack and weapon strength, Servant, better replenishment, and a passive ability of regeneration. The Wayfarer, which is negative 15% upkeep, plus 10% movement range, and negative 25% casualties. That's actually an enormous trait, that. The Warden, which I think it makes King Crab himself unbreakable, which, yeah, it's alright. The Sage, it gives a couple passive abilities and better winds of magic. And the Vengeance, which gives fear and terror. I'm not sure if it's just to King Crab himself, but it gives them, and we have a passive ability there. I think the best one by far is Wayfarer, so we'll go ahead and click on that and give that to King Crab. And we only need a single settlement to actually get the short victory. So we're going to take Skaven Bright with Clotha de Crabio, and we're going to raise this shit to the ground. All right, we're going to lose a couple units doing it, but who cares? Subjugate them? Maybe we could subjugate them as well. You know what? Why not? Let's get some rats as vassals. And now they can't hurt me. And I only just realized that we didn't get the short victory because we vassalized that. We didn't sack it or raise it. So we actually still need to capture another settlement. All right, so we finally leveled up this settlement over here to tier 5. So we can start construction on the Crustacean Temple, and that'll give us the ability to unlock the Kraken Caller. And also, it'll give us the ability to construct the Crustacean Throne, which is going to give us just a ridiculous amount of bonuses and whatnot. So we'll construct that as well. All right, we've got King Crab over here, and there is a tier 4 settlement owned by some Norskins, and we're just going to fucking auto-resolve this. We don't give a shit. Take that, occupy it, and we have finally achieved the short victory. However, I'm not going to stop there, because I want to showcase something that I think is going to be absolutely unbelievably broken. But it's going to take a little bit of time to actually get there, so I'll do that off camera, and I'll be right back with my broken strategy. Alright, so I've gone ahead and played it out another couple, like 20 turns or so, and Ikit Claw fucking rebelled against me, so I thought it was only fitting to end this campaign by obliterating him with 13 units of the Kraken Caller tier 5 and an additional 1 unit of the Krakenmeister. So as you can see, their odds aren't that good. Alright, so if we come here and have a closer look at this beautiful creation that God fucking decided to make. Here we have the Kraken Caller with a absolute ridiculous range and damage. I mean, we're gonna absolutely dismantle this army. Alright, so let's see how we go. Already got 1 shot off. Oh my goodness. Now that is a lot of fucking shots. Oh my god, we just completely obliterated this unit. That's a lot of fucking tentacles, man. I really don't want anyone to walk in my room right now. They'll think I'm on some type of hentai fucking shit right here. Oh my goodness. I think this is the most broken fucking possible thing you could ever do. I mean, look at this. If your computer isn't any good, I would not recommend this. Your frame rate will fucking implode your entire computer. I mean, oh my goodness. We are literally just deleting units. This is insane. They do have a Hull Pit Abomination, so we have to watch out for that. I mean, oh my god. Look at this fucking just death of all of these rats. This is insane. Alright, all of their army's pretty much dead. The only thing that actually remains is like a couple of units and Ikit Claw himself. The only bad thing about these guys is that they are absolutely fucking fucking terrible in combat. Like, they actually get wiped out extremely quickly. All right, now that was utterly ridiculous. Well, we did lose like a bunch of them, so if they get caught in combat, they're probably just gonna die. But you definitely don't need that many. That's fucking overkill. You probably only need about 4 or 5, and that'll do the trick. But I couldn't resist. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, then fucking like it, and please subscribe. Also, don't forget to go and subscribe to the main channel if you're not already subscribed. We are on the verge of 30k subs on the main channel, so if you're not subscribed yet, go and fucking do that. As always, I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Your support means the world. If you guys want to support me and become a patron of the channel, then click the link in the description and you can go ahead and sign up. There's many tiers you can become a member of, and the highest tier will give you access to ad-free videos. Anyway, that's all for this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Once again, thanks to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring today's video. Download and play for free now by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description.